Well, I'll say meeting with people, whether they're good people or bad people, is part of my job. I'm the special envoy. I need to go and have dialogue with anybody, and that includes a lot of people that I would classify as not so good people, to help other Americans. And so it comes part and parcel in the job. I knew that I was going to meet Hamas as a result of it, and we discussed it. Then I think when you walk and you sit in front of somebody and you know what they've done, it's hard not to think of it. I wouldn't say it's the most productive. The most productive is to realize that every piece of a person is a human, and to identify with the human elements of those people and then build from there. But it definitely feels a little odd knowing what they really are.
So thank you for your candor. So you did get sign off from President Trump ahead of time, though?
Of course.
Yeah. What was the result of the meeting? How close are you to a deal to get the American hostages, living and dead, murdered, still in Gaza, out? How close are you?
Well, first of all, I want to note the American hostages that are there, one in particular that's alive, Adi Alexander, and 4 dead bodies of Americans, with about 50 killed. And that's just not acceptable. We live in the United States, the strongest country in the world, and there are 6,000 Americans in different countries. So one of my views here is we've got to change that completely. With respect to the Hamas situation, I do think there's hope. I think that Israel has done a wonderful, masterful job eliminating Hamas, Hezbollah, a number of other enemies in the state that makes things possible that weren't possible before. And I think you could see something like a long-term truce where we forgive prisoners, where Hamas lays down their arms, where they agree they're not part of the political party going forward. I think that's a reality. It's real close.
Do you have plans to sit down with Hamas again?
You never know. You know, sometimes you're in the area and you drop by.
All right. It's a very unique pop-in, I suppose. So you talked about the job Israel has done in trying to negotiate the release of the hostages, living and dead. Axios' reporter Barak Ravid is reporting the top Israeli official, Ron Dermer, strongly discouraged you from talking directly with Hamas. He said it was a tense phone call. Tell us about that. Do you understand why Netanyahu, Dermer, others might be upset?
I do understand. I spoke with Ron, and I'm sympathetic. He has someone that he doesn't know well, making direct contact with Hamas. Maybe I would see them and say, look, they don't have horns growing out of their head. They're actually guys like us. They're pretty nice guys. So he doesn't know me, and there are big stakes. He lives in a country where if it sets certain precedents, then it will hurt or help a lot of other people. So I understand the consternation and the concern, and I wasn't upset. At the same time, we're the United States. We're not an agent of Israel. We have specific interests at play, and we did communicate back and forth. We had very specific parameters by which we fell, and the reality is what I wanted to do is jumpstart some negotiations that were in a very fragile place. And I wanted to say to Hamas, what is the end game that you want here? Not the dream end game, but what do you think is realistic at this point? Because until we know that, it's very hard to reach some sort of truce or some sort of end to hostility. So in the end, I think it was a very helpful meeting. It was very helpful to hear some back and forth. But I think Israel knows walking out of that, you know, it's not like Hamas got the world because I thought they were a bunch of nice guys.
Right. How quickly could something come together in terms of this negotiation?
I think something could come together within weeks. I will say that I believe there is enough there to make a deal between what Hamas wants and what they've accepted, and what Israel wants and it's accepted. And I think I think there is a deal where they can get all of the prisoners out, not just the Americans.